He didn't know I was listening when he told his family his truth about me. Welcome, this is Voice of Deborah and I tell true life stories. You manipulative, ungrateful woman. My son's words hit me like a physical blow across my kitchen table. I'm 53 years old, and I'd never heard Daniel speak to me like this. Never seen his face twisted with such raw contempt. I'm manipulative. My voice shook. You're the one trying to guilt me into signing over my house. It's for your own good. He slammed the manila folder down, making the coffee cups rattle. But you're too paranoid to see that your own son is trying to help you. Help me. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. By taking the house your father and I paid for? The house I've lived in for 30 years. Daniel's laugh was bitter, cruel even. Dad would be ashamed of you right now. Throwing accusations at the only family you have left. The mention of Richard, my husband who died just 6 months ago, made tears spring to my eyes. But I blinked them back. Don't you dare use your father against me. He made sure I'd be taken care of. He would never have wanted. He wasn't thinking clearly at the end, Mom. The cancer, the medication. He didn't know what he was doing. That's a lie. My hands clenched into fists. Your father's mind was sharp until his last breath. We talked about everything. He specifically told me not to sign anything without reading it carefully, without getting legal advice. Daniel's face went pale, then flushed deep red. He said that. Something in his reaction made alarm bells ring in my head. A flicker of panic in his eyes, there and gone in an instant. But what he said next made my blood run cold. Then he really was losing it. Look, Mom, I'm done arguing. Either you trust me or you don't. I'll come back tomorrow with Sarah, and we'll go over everything together. Only, like adults. His voice had gone flat, emotionless. Think about what you're risking by being stubborn. He left without another word, and I stood there in my kitchen, shaking. That night I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Something felt deeply, terribly wrong. Daniel had always been a good son. Attentive, caring, especially after his father got sick. He'd handled so many things for us during those awful last months. Bills, insurance claims, medication schedules. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe grief was making me suspicious of the one person trying to help me. But Richard's words kept echoing in my head. Words he'd whispered to me 3 days before he died, when we were alone in his hospital room. Laura, promise me something. Don't let anyone rush you into decisions after I'm gone. Not even Daniel. Read everything. Trust your instincts. Something's not right, but I can't prove it yet. At the time I'd thought it was the morphine talking. Now, at 3 a.m., staring at my bedroom ceiling, those words felt like a warning from beyond the grave. The next morning I did something I'd never done before. I called Richard's lawyer, Martin Henderson, the man who'd handled our estate planning for 15 years. Laura, I'm glad you called. Martin's voice was cautious. I've been meaning to reach out, but I wasn't sure if it was my place. Has Daniel been asking you to sign anything? My heart started pounding. Yes, yesterday. He said it was estate paperwork for tax purposes. Long pause. Laura, I need you to listen carefully. Don't sign anything. Can you come to my office today? There's something you need to know about what your husband discovered before he died. I gripped the phone tighter. What did he discover? Not over the phone. Can you come at 2 o'clock? And Laura, don't tell Daniel you're coming to see me. I agreed and hung up, my hands trembling so badly I had to set the phone down. But I never made it to that appointment. Because at 1:30 p.m., Daniel showed up early with Sarah and his sister Amanda. My daughter, who I hadn't seen in 3 months despite living only an hour away. Surprise! Sarah's smile was too bright as I opened the door. We thought we'd come help you organize some of Dad's things. Maybe make dinner together. Like old times. Something about the way they all stood on my porch, Daniel blocking the left side, Amanda the right, Sarah in the middle, made me think of wolves cornering prey. Actually, I have an appointment. I started. Cancel it. Daniel's voice wasn't a suggestion. This is more important. Family is more important. Amanda touched my arm, her grip just a little too tight. Mom, we're worried about you. You've been so isolated since Dad died. We just want to help. They were already moving into my house, and I felt a spike of genuine fear. But I pushed it down. These were my children. My family. I texted Martin. Family emergency. Need to reschedule. His response came immediately. Laura, are you safe? Call me if you need anything. I didn't answer. For the next hour, everything seemed almost normal. We sorted through Richard's clothes, packed up his books. Sarah made coffee. Amanda talked about her kids, my grandchildren I rarely got to see anymore. But then Daniel brought out the folder again. Mom, while we're all here, let's just get this paperwork handled. Amanda and Sarah can witness your signature. Make it official. I looked at my daughter. Did you read these papers? Do you know what they say? Amanda wouldn't meet my eyes. Daniel explained everything. It's just to protect the house, Mom. Keep it in the family. Then why does it need to be in Daniel's name specifically? Why not both of you? The room went quiet. Daniel's smile didn't reach his eyes. Because I'm the executor of Dad's estate. It's cleaner this way. I need to use the bathroom. I stood up quickly, my heart hammering. Mom, Daniel started. I'll be right back. I walked down the hall toward the bathroom, but at the last second, I ducked into the laundry room instead. It shared a thin wall with the kitchen. When Daniel and Amanda were teenagers, I used to hear their whispered conversations through this wall when I was folding clothes. Now I pressed my ear against it and listened. What I heard made my knees buckle. She's not going to sign. That was Sarah's voice, frustrated. She will. Daniel sounded confident. We just need to push harder. Make her think she's losing her mind. Amanda's voice was shaky. I don't know if I can keep doing this, Daniel. This is Mom. She raised us. She's standing between us and $2 million. Daniel hissed. Dad's life insurance, the house equity, his retirement accounts. It's all just sitting there while she plays the grieving widow. My hand flew to my mouth. $2 million. But what Sarah said next stopped my heart completely. If she doesn't sign by tonight, we move to Plan B. The pills I brought will dissolve in her evening tea. It'll look like a heart attack. Given her age and stress level, no one will question it. I stopped breathing. You're sure they're untraceable? Amanda's voice was barely a whisper. Positive. Sarah sounded almost bored. I've used them before in my nursing work. Well, used might be a strong word. Let's say I've seen them work. Natural causes every time. My son, my baby boy who I'd rocked to sleep, who I'd nursed through fevers and heartbreaks, laughed. Actually laughed. See, Amanda. Sarah's got this handled. Either Mom signs and we slowly drain her accounts while she lives in that nice memory care facility we found, or... Well, Plan B means we get everything faster. Either way, by next month, this house is on the market and we're splitting the profits. What about the lawyer? Amanda asked. Dad's lawyer, Henderson. What if Mom already talked to him? The temperature in the laundry room seemed to drop 20 degrees. Did she? Daniel's voice was sharp. She tried to make an appointment today, Sarah said. I checked her phone while she was in the bathroom earlier. She cancelled it though. Said there was a family emergency. We are the family emergency, Daniel said, and they all laughed. I bit down on my fist to keep from screaming. Henderson knows something, Amanda said. What if Dad told him? Dad was dying and paranoid. Daniel cut her off. Even if he said something, it's just the rambling of a sick man. There's no proof of anything. The account transfers I made while he was in hospice were all technically legal. He'd given me power of attorney. Yeah, I moved some money around before he died, but so what? It's not like he needed it anymore. That's when I understood. The medical bills, Daniel said, were piling up. They'd been paid by insurance. The estate taxes that were so urgent, they didn't exist. My son had been embezzling from his dying father, and now he wanted to finish the job by taking everything Richard had left to me. And if I didn't cooperate, they were going to kill me. Give it one more hour, Daniel said. Let's go through the guilt trip hard. How worried we are about her. How Dad would want us to stick together. Really lay it on. If she still refuses. He paused. Sarah, make the tea. I heard footsteps moving toward the hall, toward me. I did the only thing I could think of. I flushed the toilet I'd never used, ran the sink, and walked out of the laundry room on shaking legs. They were all back in the living room when I returned, faces arranged in expressions of concern. Everything okay, Mom? Daniel asked, and I saw the monster behind his eyes for the first time. Fine, I managed. Just feeling a little tired. Sarah's making you some tea, Amanda said softly. With honey the way you like it. The tea that would kill me. I sat down on my couch and my mind raced. My phone was in my purse in the kitchen. I'd seen Sarah go through it. My car keys were on the hook by the door, but they were between me and the exit. The house phone was in the kitchen too. I was trapped in my own home with 3 people planning my murder. But what Daniel didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I wasn't the naive widow they thought I was. Richard and I had talked about this. Not specifically about Daniel, never about our son, but about protection. About preparation. After a home invasion in our neighborhood 2 years ago, Richard had insisted on something. And that something was currently hidden in the fake electrical outlet behind the couch I was sitting on. Here's your tea, Mom. Sarah handed me a delicate china cup, steam rising from the amber liquid. She smiled, and I saw the nurse who knew exactly how to kill someone and make it look natural. I took the cup with steady hands. Thank you, sweetheart. I raised it to my lips, and all 3 of them leaned forward slightly, watching. Then I threw the scalding tea directly into Sarah's face. She screamed and I moved. My hand went to the fake outlet, pulled the covering free, and grabbed what Richard had hidden there. A gun. Mom, what the hell? Daniel lunged toward me. I pointed the weapon at my son's chest, and he froze. Sit down. All of you. My voice didn't shake. Not anymore. Right now. Amanda was crying. Sarah was clutching her face, making whimpering sounds. But Daniel looked at me with pure hatred. You won't shoot me. I'm your son. You were my son. Right up until you decided to poison me for insurance money. I kept the gun trained on him. Sit down. I sat. With my free hand I pulled my phone from my pocket. Not my purse, my pocket, where I'd put it after texting Martin. I hit the emergency call button. 911, what's your emergency? My name is Laura Mitchell. My son and his wife just tried to murder me. I'm holding them at gunpoint at 447 Maple Street. I need police immediately. Ma'am, are you in immediate danger? Yes. One of them has poison on them. Pills intended to kill me and make it look like a heart attack. And I need you to contact Martin Henderson, attorney at law. My husband left him evidence of financial crimes before he died. Daniel's face went white. Officers are on the way. Stay on the line with me. The next 10 minutes felt like hours. Sarah kept crying that her face was burned. Amanda kept saying she was sorry over and over. Daniel said nothing, just stared at me with those cold eyes. How did you know? He finally asked. Know what? That my son was a sociopath. I didn't. Not until 45 minutes ago when I heard you planning my death through the laundry room wall. I felt tears on my cheeks but kept the gun steady. How could you, Daniel? Your father was dying anyway, he spat. And you were always going to leave everything to charity or some stupid cause. I worked my whole life watching you 2 live comfortably while I struggled. We paid for your college, helped with your house down payment, babysat your kids every week, and made sure I knew how grateful I should be for every penny. His mask was completely gone now. Do you know what it's like, being the son who never quite measured up? Dad always looking at me like he was disappointed. Well, I'm not disappointed in myself. I'm smart enough to take what I deserve. You deserve prison, I said quietly. Sirens wailed in the distance. But Daniel wasn't done. That gun's not even loaded, is it? He smiled. Dad was always too careful. He'd never keep a loaded gun in the house. My finger moved to the trigger. Try me. He started to stand. I fired into the couch cushion next to him. The explosion in the small room was deafening. Daniel fell backward, eyes wide with shock. Amanda screamed. Sarah tried to run for the door. The next one goes in your leg. Shouted. Sit down. They sat. The sirens were right outside now. The police came through my door with weapons drawn, shouting commands. I carefully set my gun on the floor and raised my hands. She's crazy, Daniel shouted. She pulled a gun on us for no reason. We came to help her and she... Shut up. The officer's voice was hard. Ma'am, are you Laura Mitchell? Yes. Martin Henderson called us. Said you were in danger. He's on his way with documentation. Relief flooded through me so intensely I almost collapsed. They arrested all three of them. Found the pills in Sarah's purse. Later confirmed to be a cardiac drug that would cause heart failure in someone my age. Found texts on Amanda's phone discussing the timeline and splitting the assets. Found bank records Daniel had been stupid enough to keep on his laptop, showing transfers he'd made from Richard's accounts in those final weeks of life. But the real evidence came from Martin Henderson. He arrived 20 minutes later with a box of files and a flash drive. Richard came to see me 2 weeks before he died, Martin explained as we sat in my kitchen, police still processing my living room as a crime scene. He'd discovered discrepancies in his accounts, money missing. He did some investigating. Even from his hospital bed, your husband was sharp, and found evidence that Daniel had been stealing from him for almost a year. A year. Felt sick. Richard wanted to confront Daniel, but he was worried. Worried what Daniel might do to you after he was gone. So he came to me, gave me all the evidence, and made me promise to watch over you. He also made a new will, one Daniel knew nothing about. Left everything to you with specific instructions that the house and assets were to be protected in a trust Daniel couldn't touch. Tears streamed down my face. He knew. He was trying to protect me even from beyond the grave. He loved you very much. Martin squeezed my hand. And he knew his son better than anyone wanted to admit. The trial was a media sensation. Nursing home nurse and accomplices plot matricide for inheritance, read one headline. It turned out Sarah had indeed used those pills before, on 2 elderly patients whose deaths had been ruled natural causes. My case reopened those investigations. Daniel got 25 years for attempted murder, conspiracy, and elder financial abuse. Sarah got life when they connected her to the other deaths. Amanda got 15 years. Her lawyer argued she'd been manipulated, but the text showed she'd been a willing participant. I sold the house. Too many ghosts, too many memories of that awful day. But before I left, I went to Richard's grave and told him everything. You saved me, I whispered, my hand on his headstone. Even after you were gone, you were still protecting me. The wind rustled through the cemetery trees, and I swear I felt him there one last time. I'm 55 now. I live in a small condo in a different state, close to my sister and her family. My real family. The one who loves me without wanting anything in return. I've learned that blood doesn't always mean family. That sometimes the people who should love you most are the ones capable of the greatest betrayal. But I've also learned that real love, the kind Richard had for me, doesn't end with death. It protects, it warns, it reaches across the veil to save you when you need it most. If you're watching this, take something from my story. Trust your instincts. When someone, even family, especially family, makes you feel uncomfortable about signing papers, about giving up control, about any decision that affects your safety and security, listen to that feeling. It might just save your life. And if this story resonated with you, if it made you think about the people in your own life, hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Because the scariest monsters aren't the strangers in dark alleys. Sometimes they're the ones sitting at your kitchen table, calling you mom.